People are walking by. I'm down at the river. But let's use that. I thought it would be a pretty backdrop for what I wanted to talk to you about. So I was talking to YouTube the other day. They gave me a call and we were talking about some of the different things that I could do to improve my channel. And one of them was a trailer. So I was like, a trailer, huh? Well, and I sat down a couple times and tried to do my trailer, because like the things that I'm into are obviously beauty and makeup and hair and nails, but makeup, hair, nails, witchcraft, astrology, relationships. I mean, I could say the whole gambit of stuff. God, big hair day. But I guess what it boils down to really is this one thing. So I figured, let me just go to the river and tell you the story. I had a near-death experience that kind of changed things for me. Now, before you even go there, before all that, I had already done the tarot. I was on the psychic lines. I did a lot. But I'll explain what happened. My father died. And everybody in my life, I kind of feel like I'm there for them. It's my dad. I always felt like he was there for me. Like he was specifically there because I didn't open up to a lot of people and I took care of a lot of people. And so I felt like he was, get some lighting in. I felt like he was there for me as opposed to me being there for him. And when he passed away, I felt very much punished. So I knew, I was pretty confident I was losing a parent because of my astrology chart. And it said I was going to inherit that year and whatnot. And I didn't know who. And when it was my father, I didn't know a parent. I knew somebody significant was going to pass. And then my dad called me up in June and told me, he's like, oh, I told you about my operation I have to have, right? And I'm like, no, but instantly I knew. And the good part about that, the fact that I knew, the bad part was I was tortured. I literally tortured myself day after day that my father was going to pass. And the good part about it was I was pretty much the only one that got to say goodbye, because I acted like such a freak that my dad was finally like, Paula, I have to do this. There's nothing else I can do. I love you. And he just like laid it out. This was something he was going to do. He had to do. And I needed to just let him do it in peace. And of course, he never made it home from the hospital. But that being said, after that, I went a little crazy. I felt very punished. I felt like, you know, that was like specifically to hurt me, that I now had no one to lean on. And I can't talk a lot about my dad because I don't believe this. Whew. Okay, that being said, now my dad died in July. Come October, and I have this operation. I had 3 C-sections from my kids, and right where the scar was had gotten super tight. And so I needed that like loosened up and some of the scar tissue taken away, and like to get rid of that super tight. It was like a band around my hips. And so that I go and have the operation done, and I know instantly coming out of the operation that something's wrong. And I say something to my surgeon. I'm like, there's something wrong. I've had 3 C-sections, my appendix out, this isn't right. Nobody listens. 13 days after my surgery, it broke open and I had a gaping hole, like you could put your fist in it, that big on my abdomen, and I smelled like dead chicken. I had been back and forth to my surgeon every other day. He just kept telling me I had the flu or this, that, and I was so sick. My hair started falling out because my body tried so hard to fix things that I was 100% protein deficient. And you could just pull my hair out like this, like a clump of hair. It's crazy. I literally told my girlfriend what to do with my kids. Like, I thought I was going to die. And so I show up at my doctor's office. I show up at my surgeon's, like, and pass out. And he revives me pretty much and sends me up to the hospital around the corner. It says, go check in. He calls them. And I'll be there after I'm done my patients, and I'm going to, see what's going on. But I had a hole. I mean, it was like a square, but it was like a hole like that. So I get up there, I check in, they put me in a room, and apparently somebody had called an infectious disease guy. His name was Dr. Bacon, and he saved my life. And he shows up in my room and says, where's your surgeon? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm delirious, by the way. I have like 104 fever. I am pouring sweat. And then I stopped sweating and just got freezing cold and just stayed freezing cold. My eyes were like rolling. So he instantly says, I want you an x-ray. Orders x-rays. And unbeknownst to me, calls my surgeon and tells him to get his ass up here because I'm going to like die. So I get wheeled down in a wheelchair to x-ray, and I don't remember much of that. And then, all of a sudden I'm like running through the hallway. Somebody's like pushing my wheelchair, and all I can think, because all they did was put one of those gowns on, and like wheelchairs have these like a leather seat and a leather back, but there's like a crack like that big and my ass is hanging out of there, and I'm like coming to going, why is my ass, like I can feel the breeze. I know it's but they wheel me in a wheelchair into the OR, not a stretcher. There is no checking the thing. And people are like crazy. So I don't know what happened in x-ray because I don't recall any of it. The next thing I know, they are like pulling me up and put me on an operating gurney. And the minute they laid me back flat, now, by the way, my abdomen had swollen up like 8 months pregnant, like literally. The minute they laid me flat on the operating table, boom, I was gone. And this is what happened. I am on a path in the woods. And the first thing I do is when I get in there or wherever, when it kind of comes to me. It's like not there, everything's black, and then color, and then you're in the woods. I look up above me to see the leaves are like dancing kind of, and I can see the light coming through the leaves, but I can't tell like where I really am. I'm just in the woods on a sunny day, but they're dark woods because I'm like down in them. There's a path in front of me, and I say, oh, shoot. This is great, because I all of a sudden realize I feel better. Like I'm not hot, I'm not cold, I'm not any of that. I go to put my hands under my neck to like I would do one of these numbers, and my hand just keeps going with hair. I look down and I'm like 18 again. Like my hair is my 18-year-old length hair. I am in a pair of cutoff jeans that I hadn't seen since I was actually 17. And a white gauze shirt that I wore ad nauseum. It was like a peasant shirt with crisscrossed in the back. So cute. But anyway, it was made of like gauze. I have no shoes on. But my body and everything is like it was when I was like 17, 18. So I was like, I'm young again. And then I was like, oh, like what a relief. It feels so good here. Because wherever there was compared to here felt like shit. Okay. I was like I just was like woozy and achy and feverish. And so I'm like, oh my God, like I'm shocked, but not in a scared way. Now, remember, I have 3 kids. Not once did I think, oh my God, my children, maybe that's terrible, but I didn't. I didn't think any like real thoughts of the past, yet it was there. It wasn't like it wiped out and I was 17. It was there. It just wasn't relevant. I don't know how else to put it. So I look up and look down this path, and this is all happening in seconds. I look down the path and think, I have to go meet Daddy. And I start walking down this path. I have no real thoughts other than I'm going to go meet my father and we're going to go. I don't know where. I don't even try to think where. I get, well, and in all, this probably was 2.5 minutes that I'm here. So I walk down this path and it goes kind of deeper and deeper, but I'm not on it very long. And it clears, but it's in the darkness. Again, when I say it's dark, it's like, you ever like walk into the woods on a bright sunny day, but all you can see is the light shining through all the leaves. Like that's what it was like. And there's this pond. I mean, I'd like to say it's a lake, but it's just not that big. But it's a big-ish pond. On the other side of the pond, from me, where I stopped, is a path. And right next to me is a big rock. So I say to myself, oh, I'll just sit here and wait for Daddy. Before I can sit down, like there's a big, thick, wide rubber band around my middle, around my waist. Literally, it was like I was pulled back up the path, like, doo. But it only took a second, and boom, I'm in the OR. And everybody's going crazy around me. They're like, da 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 da. I don't even understand what they're saying. I'm just like, what the fuck? How am I here? Like, what's going on? I'm very confused and I'm sick. And they're like, do this, do that. And they're like trying to get, they're like, because I didn't even have an IV in, by the way. They're trying to put an IV in. They're doing all this shit, like right on the table. Like it was the craziest hour of my life. Anyway, they had leaned me up to put these little sticky things on my back. And so when I came to or whatever, I was like kind of leaned up like this. And the minute they laid me back, all the way back flat again, boom, I was gone. I was back on the path. But this time I was down closer to the pond than I was where I started before. I wasn't all the way down there, but it was close. And I thought to myself, oh my God, they're going to pull me back. I don't know who they are because I didn't really have a concept of what I was thinking, but they were going to pull me back. So I took like 3 big steps. I wasn't running, but I wanted to go meet Daddy. Like part of me like so wanted to be there. It didn't hurt there. I was young there. It felt good there. I felt warm and yummy, and I can't even tell you. And not euphoric, no light, none of that. It was just very matter of fact. Like, my dad's coming. I got to go meet my dad. And I took like a big step. And by the 3rd step, boom, here came that rope thing around my waist again. It was like, doo. I mean, I physically went like, oh, like this when I would get pulled back. I don't know who they is in my head, because I don't believe anybody had the like things on me or anything. But when they pulled me back, when I came to the second time, my heart stopped twice on the table, and they did not have to revive me. It was positional. Every time they lied me flat, that sack of whatever it was that it took like 2.5 weeks to suction drain out of my chest was laying on my heart, and it just stopped everything dead. And then when they would move me up, my heart would start to beat again. So the second time it happened, I came back to myself, and they're holding me all the way up like this. And one of the nurses, or I don't know if it was a girl or a woman, was the last person I saw, but that wasn't her. This person was rolling towels, green towels, rolling them into like rolls, and stuck them under this shoulder and stuck them down. And then when I laid down, I was like laying to one side, and a really pretty face came into mine. It was a nurse or something. I couldn't see it all, but she had pretty eyes. And she said, "Say night night." That was it. I woke up in my hospital room. I was delirious, though. I saw Jeff crying, and then he was gone. A couple people in and out of my vision, but pretty much I was in darkness. I never went back to that place. I never met Daddy. But it changed me. And let me tell you how. So when I come out of this, I tell Jeff what happened. And Jeff had 13 back surgeries, 2 major car accidents, one where he tore his, I think it's called a mezzanine, and it's the flap that opens and closes your stomach, and was internally bleeding for 2 days until they figured out, and he died on a table. But and what he told me, and he wasn't very big into like ghosts. He believed what I said. He did. He was good that way, but like he didn't have a lot of those thoughts that he talked to me about on his own. But he recognized that that's what I dealt with in my life, and he had opinions that were similar to mine, but he never like acted on anything or did anything, He was very practical. Anyway, in his version of what happened to him, he just floated up and looked down at the doctors working on him and could tell the doctors like what they said and stuff. I did not have that. I was not in the room. I was on a journey. And that journey never stopped. I told Jeff what had happened once I came out. When I woke up, by the way, you know those things you see in the movies where like people breathe and it looks like an accordion? It's like, well, they had somehow hooked those up to tubes that they cut holes in that were running like this through my abdomen that would suction every few seconds this stuff. It was so disgusting. But beyond all that, I went somewhere, and I didn't go somewhere in my mind, and I didn't go, and what was crazy was that was like right when the internet was getting big. It was something like that. Anyway, but I had never really looked up or looked for anybody's other than my own experience until I could. And then once I looked it up, oh my God, do you know how many people did the same thing I did? And I was like, how is that possible? Like, nobody ever told me that. I never read I've read all kinds of books about death and this and that. Nobody ever told me about a path in the pond and nothing like that. So when I started seeing other people's very similar experiences, and then I started reading stuff from like Proctor and Bob Monroe, Robert Monroe, like all that stuff, I was like, oh no, heaven is a place. It's a geography. Now, you can't get there with your fucking map on your phone, but it's an actual place, which led me to what I do now, which is search. I search for clues. I try to find people that have passed. Even before Jeff passed, I did this stuff. I just search for those truths, those answers, those things that are not only interesting to me, but I say to myself, if I found the doorway to heaven, let's say I found the doorway to, we'll call it heaven. You can call it whatever you want, because I'm not really big on like God being like some guy. up in the clouds that dictates my life to me. I think you pretty much have free will to do what you want in your life, and you can go whatever way you want. I do believe there's some karma, dharma type thing going on. But, and I believe in a lot of other stuff, astrology, witchcraft. I think that your intention is everything, that your mind and, not your brain, two different things, your consciousness is so powerful. So I have a lot of theories, you know, but heaven is a place. And if I can find the gateway to that place to go visit the people that I love and miss terribly, or to even visit the people you love and miss terribly, if I can find that gateway, and I've found it a couple times, it's just hard to keep your hand on the knob. You know, you find the door and you crack it open and you rush in and you're so excited, but it's fleeting and it's short. And it's not like I can say, you know what, I'm just going to go for the weekend to the other side. But I do believe it's right here. It's like not as far as you think. It's a matter of flipping a switch here, like of learning how to take your soul, which I don't believe that your brain is, I think your brain's a dumb animal, and your soul and your brain is like your hard drive, and your soul is back here behind you doing this to your hard drive, which is your brain, to make your body do stuff. I don't believe it's like your brain doing all that, you know. I'm just different. But with all that being said, if I could find the path and be able to take that at will as often as I could, what's more important ever? What in life ever could be more important? To me, like, that's more important than all the riches in the world, than all the anything. And if I can share that with someone, or even help somebody get a little bit close to that, to seeing or finding somebody that's lost to you, to, you know, there's just nothing more important. That's like the most important thing, because that's where we're all going next. And it's like, I don't believe in death. I believe life continues on. I do believe in mourning. I believe that, you know, you're sad that they're not in this same body as yours, you know, that you want to relate to them every day like that. But I don't believe that because somebody passes, the relationship ends. I have all these crazy beliefs. And that makes me who I am. So if I'm going to do a trailer, it's not going to be about, oh, how much I like Tarte, you know, or it's going to be like what I try to do all the time. And I try to be good to people. I try to help. I try to nurture. And I try to seek. I seek. I look for. I'm on a journey to find. Come with me. You know, help me. If you've got those, if you've had those experiences, please share them. Because, like I said, nothing's more important. Nothing is more important. Anyway, that's my trailer. I'm going to have to cut it up a little because it's a little long. But I love you guys. You know who I am. I don't need to tell you who I am.